Hello, I'm Sam, and I'm going to explain how investors can use seasonal tokens to make a profit without taking on many of the risks associated with most cryptocurrency investments. There are 4 tokens: Spring, Summer, Autumn, and Winter, and they're produced by proof-of-work mining just like Bitcoin. They've been designed so that their prices will oscillate around one another over the course of years. Every 9 months, the rate of production of one of the tokens is cut in half. It goes from being produced at the fastest rate of the 4 to being produced at the slowest rate. It goes from being the cheapest token to produce to being the most expensive. The reason for doing this is to allow investors to increase the number of tokens they own over time. Every time an investor trades the more expensive tokens for the cheaper ones, they get more tokens in total. These cheap tokens will become the most expensive later on, and the investors can trade again. By following the rule, always trade tokens for more tokens of a different type, an investor can guarantee that the number of tokens in the investment will increase with every trade. It makes it possible to trade for profit without risking a loss, measured in tokens. The 4 different tokens are equally valuable in the long term because the prices keep oscillating around each other. So the long-term value of the investment increases whenever the number of tokens in it goes up. This is a mechanism unique to seasonal tokens that allows the investments to grow in value over time without relying on price appreciation. With most cryptocurrency projects, the expectation of long-term profit comes from the hope that the prices will rise over time. This is effectively a bet that the prices will go up, and it's not possible to make that bet without risking a loss if the prices go the wrong way. With seasonal tokens, the investment can grow in value over time even if the prices don't rise, because the number of tokens in the investment keeps increasing. It's a way to earn a return on your investment without betting on future prices. Now, let's have a look at where the economic value comes from. The tokens are produced by proof-of-work mining, so they have a real cost of production. They also have an economic value that comes from the proof that the work needed to produce them was done. They're not counterfeits that were created at zero cost. That gives them a real economic value. Investors can get a share of this value, but they can't get it for free. They need to participate in the economy by trading tokens for more tokens over time. This helps the miners adjust to the changes in the cost of production. When Spring becomes twice as expensive to produce, but the price doesn't immediately double, the miners find that mining Spring tokens just isn't profitable. They mine the other 3 tokens, but it's less efficient than it would be if the prices of all 4 tokens reflected the cost of production. Investors who trade tokens for Spring tokens make it profitable to mine Spring again, and they also increase the number of tokens they own. By moving their capital from token to token as the mining costs change, the investors make the mining process more efficient, and in return, they get more tokens over time. So that's how investors can provide a service with their capital and earn real economic value in return. Next, let's look at how proof-of-work tokens reduces some of the risks that investors face. Cryptocurrencies that are mined using proof-of-work are commodities. This means that there's no promises associated with them. They're not redeemable for anything else, and they're not issued by a person or a company. They're like gold or other minerals. They can be mined and traded. This is good for investors because there's no promise that can be broken. The founders of the project don't get any tokens for free. They need to buy them and mine them just like everybody else. Nobody has any special advantages. This means that investors don't need to rely on the founders of the project to run a business. The economic value doesn't come from a company that brings in revenue. Just like Bitcoin, seasonal tokens are commodities that are becoming harder and harder to obtain over time. They're completely decentralized and completely trustless. No single person or group of people is in control. Unlike stablecoins, the tokens make no attempt to maintain a peg to each other or to any other currency. Their prices are intended to move independently in response to changes in supply and demand. There's no person or company holding reserves and trying to keep the prices in the right order. It's the cost of production that makes one token expensive and another token cheap. So, for investors, there are a number of risks that can be eliminated by investing in seasonal tokens. the risk of a business failure, the risk of a peg breaking, and the risk of ending up with fewer tokens than you started with, they can all be removed. Instead of betting or lending money, investors can use their wealth to provide a service to miners, and in return, the number of tokens in their investment goes up over time, and it never goes down. Seasonal tokens also allow investors to clearly see the health of the project. With other cryptocurrencies, it may seem that the project is healthy when the dollar price is high, and that it isn't healthy when the price is low. With the tokens, the price charts show clearly that winter is the most expensive token and spring is the cheapest, and the prices are stable relative to each other. The fact that the prices are behaving the way that they're intended to behave is clearly visible in the charts. It's not surprising that winter tokens are the most expensive of the four because they're the hardest to produce and they're the scarcest. The historical behavior of the prices demonstrates that the very simplest economic principles really do work in the real world. If it's hard to obtain and it's expensive to produce, then it's expensive to buy. This simple principle keeps the prices apart and makes it possible for investors to trade tokens for more tokens of a different type. The four token prices relative to each other make up a self-contained economy, which has been custom designed to let investors provide value for making rational decisions that increase the long-term value of their investment. The dollar prices of the tokens will go up and down over time. That's tied into the broader economy, and there's no way to take control of it and guarantee that the value of the investment measured in dollars will always go up. What is possible is to guarantee that the number of tokens in the investment always goes up and never goes down. For investors, it's perfectly clear today what trades to make to increase the long-term value of their investments, and it's this clarity that the tokens were engineered to provide.
To learn more about the tokens and meet the team behind the project, click on the Discord link on our website. We have a growing community of miners, farmers, and investors, and we hope to see you there soon.